Hello, viewers. My name is Beatrice Banda. Welcome to another edition of the Sunday Life podcast. And today we are talking inspiration, we're talking the comrades, we're talking cancer. And I'm joined by Lauren Shenk. She's going to tell us more about herself. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lauren, just tell us briefly about yourself.
I am a nursery school teacher at Absorbent Minds, and I am a mom of two children. I've got an 18-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son, and I live in Bulawayo.
Lauren, just take us back to a year ago. Be diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
What really happened? Just tell us what really happened and when did you find out that you got cancer?
So I'd actually found a lump in my chest, and I was just really concerned about it. Went to doctors who sent me for ultrasounds, and it was suspicious. So I was then sent to South Africa to go for biopsies. Went through biopsies, ultrasounds, MRIs, mammograms, and then on the 19th of August, they confirmed that I did have cancer. So from there, it was sent to oncologists, radiologists, all kinds of doctor's appointments in South Africa. They decided that I needed to have surgery. So I had a lumpectomy in September, which is the removal of the tumor that I had, as well as lymph nodes to see if the cancer had spread to the lymph nodes. And then when the results had come in from that, it was stage 3 hormonal positive cancer. So I was under an excellent group of doctors in South Africa. I was referred to an oncologist, Dr. Mudley, who's at Donald Gordon Hospital in Parkview in South Africa. They did a treatment program for me, which included 6 rounds of chemotherapy, which I was having on a 3-weekly cycle, which started in November. Went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy, followed by 30 rounds of radiation. And I have just completed all of that in the middle of May.
So, do you know all the time we're in South Africa from all the time in South Africa?
A lot of backwards and forwards. It was very disruptive for my children. Obviously they were in school, but I've had such an incredible support system from friends, from family. So most of my treatment I had done in South Africa. I had my first 3 chemotherapies in South Africa. I would go, have the chemotherapy, and then come back and recover here at home. And then the last 3 chemotherapies, I did get all my meds from South Africa, from my oncologist here. And I did it through Dr. Chingonzo here in Bulawayo at Royal Clinic. So I had the last 3 radiations here, chemotherapies here. But my radiation, it was Monday through Friday for 6 weeks solid. So I was in South Africa for 2 months for that.
How did this whole experience, what did it do, to your mental well-being, to your physical well-being? Or what does this whole experience do to you?
Oh, you know what? It's a very, very tough road that you go down. Very, very tough road. Physically, chemotherapy is the worst thing I have ever in my life experienced. It is such a debilitating thing. A lot of hard times. But looking back on everything, it's such a weird thing to say, but I wouldn't change anything because it's put me on such a different path. Such a terrible thing that I went through has put me on a path to my best life. And through all of this, God has just held me in His hand. They often say, God has you in the palm of His hand. But how I really felt it for me, because it was such a dark time, like God had me like that, like inside there, and He kept me. And looking back now, I definitely had Him by my side. It says, when you go through the rivers, when you go through the dark times, I am with you, and He was with me. So even though it was such an awful time, He put so many people in my life that just were surrounding me and leading me and guiding me, and just knowing that His presence was always there. So terrible, but you know what? I had Him with me, so I managed to get through this journey.
And how did it help that you had medical recover? How did it assist?
Medical aid was an absolute miracle. 1 year before I was diagnosed, I had not been on medical aid at all before. And it's just, when you look back, you just see how God just puts you on paths that you need to be. That my mom and dad decided that I needed to be on medical aid. And they put me on medical aid, and it wasn't long after it was pretty much a year, it might have been just over a year when I was diagnosed with this. And Masca, there's a gentleman there, Doug Bramson, who has just been unreal with us. Got everything sorted, contacts in South Africa, dealing with the South African company that just pre-authorized, guaranteed everything for me. They covered everything. And because I was diagnosed in August, my medical aid was renewed again come January. So from August to December, all my chemotherapy had been covered, all my surgeries, my hospital stays, absolutely everything. And it was all covered. There have been no shortfalls, nothing. And it's just, the timing of it has just been incredible.
And did you have to change your diet to this whole process? And even after you finish your medication, did you have to change your diet to adjust anything?
I think because I've always been a runner and that I've always been quite conscious of how I eat, so I've tried to be very healthy, and generally I am a pretty healthy person. Obviously through chemotherapy, it's whatever you can keep down you eat, but generally I've had to really just make more conscious, healthy decisions, like not putting processed stuff in my body too much, because my cancer is a hormone positive cancer. There's so many antibiotics and hormones in a lot of products that we buy, so I've had to just be careful with that, but just also just realizing that our bodies are just, they're with us for the rest of our lives, so just making sure that everything I put in it is good and healthy, and it's going to keep me strong.
So what did this whole thing, you said it was really difficult for the children, two young children.
Yes.
What did you do to them, and what did you do to even to your parents? What did all this experience do to your parents and to your children?
Oh, you know what? I think my kids have been through a hard time. I was speaking to my daughter the other day, and when you're actually going through it, you think everything is okay around you. You try to make sure that you are, being as upbeat as you can. But you know what? When people around you know you, they know that it's actually a hard road that you're on. So when I was talking to Taryn the other day, she did say to me, she said, "Oh, Mom," she said, "it was such a tough time for them because, I'm their mom. I'm always with them and doing stuff, and there was times I couldn't even get out of bed, and my kids had to carry on." You know what I mean? And thank goodness my daughter's got a driver's license. She was taking my son to school, fetching him. She would go and do grocery shopping. So she had to do a lot of things that are unfair on a child. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're happy and we're healthy, and we got through it. We got through it. So even with my parents, they have been by my side through thick and thin. And I know my mom and dad every single day have prayed for me through this journey. Every single day. And they've helped me with kids. They've helped me with backwards and forwards to South Africa, you name it. They've just been by my side the whole time. So I've had an incredible support structure.
Now, we hear you're running the Comrades Marathon, one of the most grueling races in the world.
Yes, I am indeed.
You've run Comrades Marathon before,
yes.
So you told us.
Yes.
How were the past experiences, the 2017 and 2018? How was Comrades?
They are very, very tough runs to run. You start in the morning and you finish at night. You're running for 12 hours. So it's a very long, very hard process, but a very, very rewarding run. Very rewarding.
What was the best time that you did in those 2 years?
10 hours 42. So I did 10 hours 42 and 10 hours 47.
And that required a lot of training.
Yes, for sure.
Like a whole year of training?
Pretty much a whole year. So when we were running before, we were quite active runners. So we've done quite a few quite a few different runs. We've done the Big Falls, we've done a few in South Africa. So we were actively training. And then when it came to running Comrades, because we'd already been running, it was serious training, I'd say, for a year to 8 months. Before that, we were solely training for Comrades.
And the 2022 one, when did you decide that I'm going to run Comrades?
I didn't decide that. My running partner, Debbie King, who has been by my side through absolutely everything, she's been unbelievable. We have been running together for many, many years, and she decided that this was something that we needed to do. And she signed me up and sent me a message saying, "Guess what, Lauren? We are running Comrades."
When was this?
In May.
Just after your last treatment?
Just after my treatment, she decided that this is something that we should do.
What was your reaction?
Like this. I was a little bit in denial, and I said there's absolutely no ways. I've spent the last year of my life either in a hospital bed or lying on my bed or in a chemo chair, or there's no energy, there is no running. We haven't run for a very, very long time. And I definitely did not think it was something that we were able to do.
But now you've come to accept that you're going to run the marathon?
Yes.
That's on the end of August?
Next Sunday. Yeah.
And how has been the preparation for that one? Since that you're saying you've been like preparing for even for 8 months to a year. Now you've just prepared
in a very short amount of time. 3 months. So my first run was a 5K, and I think I walked most of the 5K. And we are actually under a trainer from the States. So he is very aware of the situation that I'm in, and he's given us a training program to be able to do Comrades. But more than that, the only way that I'm able to do this is by God. He has just put his hand on me, and he has just helped me. And there's every run that we do, we pray. We always pray, and I just feel that God has just been with me every single step of the day. And yeah, we've been doing the training, we're making sure that we're eating properly, and we are right on track to run it.
Part of the preparations, what's the longest run that you've had?
The longest run that I've had is 50 kilometers.
Do you have a story, picture, video to share? Welcome to the Sunday News Citizen Journalism Corner. Contact us on editor@sundaynews.co.zw or send a WhatsApp message to +263 771 510 997.
So, from preparing for the Comrades in like 8 to 12 months, I having to crash everything in 3 months. How has that been? Is that taken a toll on your body, which is just covered from cancer? How has that been? For you?
You know what? It's very intense training. It is a lot of running, and you have to be pretty dedicated to do it. We do a lot of early morning runs. Often we are on the road just after 4 o'clock in the morning. Run a lot in the dark, and it has progressed very quickly. Like I said earlier, my first run that I did 3 months ago was a 5K run. Very slow, a lot of walking, and this program that we are on just is slowly increasing. But the trainer that we with, he does a lot of heart rate, he does a lot of analyzing the runs that we do to see how he can push us to the maximum. And he has said to us, he said, you know what, how most people do it is just a gradual build up to the Comrades, and then they taper down. But because we hadn't been doing the distances, because we hadn't been training before, he pushed the distance a lot quicker, and then he's trying to maintain us there. So there have been days, especially when we first started, just a few body niggles, a lot of tiredness and all. But with just making sure that we are eating properly, making sure that we're well hydrated, and just sticking to the program, we've managed to get to this point where we are now. So it's been a lot of hours, a lot of time on the road. Again, a lot of support from people, because we need lots of water stops, and we get friends that stop along the way, and a lot of support. But it's been tough, but we're ready.
So how has it been like? Do you, for these 3 months, have you been running every day? We
probably run 5 days a week, and then how we do it, we normally have a very intense run, and then we have a recovery run, an intense run, a recovery run. But pretty much every day. Yeah.
All right. And you said that Debbie King is she's based in.
Yes. So Debbie King, I work for Debbie. So she has Absorbent Minds Nursery School, and it's a fabulous little school, and I am a school teacher there. And we have been running together, I'd say, for about 8 years now. So even in the times with chemo, because I wasn't able to run, she would come a couple of mornings a week, and we'd just go do a walk, and we'd literally walk around the block every single day. When I could. And then we've been on the road for many kilometers together.
And all these runs, the 5 days, a week, you might complete this day in a day where you can't take it.
No, we've managed to do it all. We walk like a penguin afterwards. That's what somebody said about Comrades runners, and as soon as they said that, I said that's exactly how we walk afterwards. But we do it.
Yeah. So, what do you hope? Just of cancer treatment, and you're not going to run. Comrades. What do you feel that does to others in the same situation?
Yeah.
The runners before, now the have cancer, and the oxygen treatment as well.
Yeah.
What do you think that does? How do you hope that it does to
Oh, you know what? I think everybody's on such different journeys, hey. And I think when we look at other people, we'd happily rather keep our own cross than to have what other people are going through. But I think just knowing that whatever path that you're on, whether it's something that we choose or something horrible that's happened, that knowing that we can actually finish this race and we don't have to do it on our own, and that every step of the way, God is with you, 100% with you. And when you go through hardships, when you go through all those times, because like I know with Comrades, there's going to be a point when we're tired and you're going to have to dig deep, and you're going to have to really, it can be a mental battle some of the time, that it's okay, you don't have to give up, that you can start and you can finish the race. So I just look at where my life was a year ago. This exactly now, a year ago, I thought everything was not over, but just it looked bleak and it looked like there was no hope. But there actually is a lot of hope, and there is a lot of joy in amongst all the chaos and in amongst all the turmoil and in amongst all the heartaches and all the tears, that there's still so much hope and there's still so much joy, because God's mercy and grace is on our lives. So I think just with people, no matter what you're facing, that there are going to be better days and things are going to get better. We just have to trust in God. And trusting in God doesn't mean that we just sit back and do nothing. It means He's equipped you and He's given you stuff so that you can complete the race. And we all have our part to do. But if we open our eyes, God will show us the way.
What was the reaction from close family? Let's say the run Comrades to come out of cancer treatment. What was the reaction from kids?
I think a lot of people thought it was crazy. I thought it was crazy for a bit of it. But you know what? I've got such support now. And I just figure, hey, if I could go through chemo, I can do anything, because chemo is terrible. But we can. People are amazing, hey? And like I said, God has just put incredible things in each one of us. So, but I could not have done it without the support of the people that God has put in my life. So, yeah, a lot of support and a lot of love and a lot of good, incredible people in my life.
Have you ever thought maybe of setting up a fund of any sort? Because you're fortunate enough to afford
with medical aid.
Medical aid. And there are others who cannot afford to go to
100%. I actually know of a few people that have been put in positions where they can't get treatment because they cannot afford it and they are not on medical aid. And it must be such a terrible position to be in, to know that this could save your life. And if you don't have access to the stuff, you could die just because of a financial thing. So I think that there are very many people out there that are desperate for help. And I think to set up a fund, to set up help, to help people, there are a lot of generous people out there that are just looking for something to support and something to give to. So yes, 100%.
So what are the plans for the Comrades run itself? What are the plans? Like running in pink?
Yes, pink all the way.
Yeah.
Pink all the way, 100%. So I'm running with two friends of mine. We've been training together, and it's to go and enjoy the journey. You know what? The build-up and the training has got us to this point, and this is just the finale. So once we get to the start, it's just enjoying it and being surrounded by people. When you do run it, you see so many people that run in support of something. They've got names that they're running for on their backs. They've got pictures of people. They hold flags, and it's actually a very, very humbling thing, because every single person that is at that race has got a journey and they've got a story. And so we are going to be part of that. We're part of an incredible bunch of people, and yes, hopefully get to the finish line.
We've seen this whole preparation. Has there been any element of doubt, or you need to say I'm not ready for this?
Ooh, when you are couple of hours into a run and you are tired, sometimes there is a bit of doubt in there, but you have to just take captive your thoughts, So definitely just pull yourself towards yourself and say, I'm doing this, I've started this journey, I know that God has equipped me for it, I know that I've got the support for it, all I can do is give it my best. So there have been times where it has been hard and I haven't wanted to finish, but I have.
How are you physically feeling? Are you feeling ready?
Feeling ready. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling healthy. I'm excited. I'm feeling confident for Comrades. I really am.
So, having run those two, did you have sort of a plan? I was planning to run 10. I was planning to run. I've been running Comrades for years.
Yes.
Did you have any sort of goal for yourself? So we run 10 of them or run so many?
You know what? I was actually very happy with 2. Originally, I would never have run another one. But with Debbie signing me up and with my dad likening this whole journey to Comrades, I think it was a necessary thing for me to do. A very necessary thing, just as a rounding up and a completion of this last year that I've been on. So I think this will be the last Comrades, but definitely not the end of running.
All right.
Yeah.
Quite an inspirational story from Lauren Shenk. She's just been off treatment for cancer, and she's planning to run one of the most grueling races in the world. And I forgot to ask this year, is it up on
the down run this year?
Down run, is it?
They say it's harder, but out of the 2, I preferred the down. It's got the most incredible finish. You finish in that beautiful stadium in Durban. So I'm looking forward to running into that stadium and finishing the race.
Well, Lauren, we wish you all the best
Thank you so much.
in this Comrades Marathon, and we wish you a healthy life going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Well, viewers, that was Lauren Shenk. Like I said, she's just come off a treatment, and she is going to the most grueling race in the world. That's the Comrades Marathon. That is at the end of this month out in South Africa. Please do follow us on. First of all, click that subscribe button on Sunday News on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. Follow us, and follow us on Facebook. We're there, is on Instagram. Because keep on tuning to Sunday News TV.